wanderer, searching for his test, facing off against a giant robot in the desert's crest. Yeehaw, riding through the wasteland, guns ablaze, battle in the battle of giants, triumph never fails. Yeehaw, triumph never fails. Yeehaw, triumph never fails.
Hey, and welcome to a new video for AIanimation.com. In this video, I'm going to take you through a short tutorial to create some new AI-powered animated content as we explore 3 new AI tools. And these tools are all pretty exciting, and I think they'll be useful whether you're doing more traditional animation or you are exploring AI animation production as well. The first of these is Storyboard Hero, which allows you to create these professional AI-generated storyboards, and it takes you through concept to the completed storyboard with voiceovers and actions, and it generates the images as well, and you can go in and edit it before downloading this professional storyboard, and it's got a very smart interface as well. Next up, there's Suno, which is a music generation option using AI, and it creates these really fun audio tracks using text prompts. So we're going to explore that as well to create our music. And then lastly, I'm going to look at Decoherence, which is an amazing AI-powered animation video generator that has been around for a little while, but it's seen lots of improvements. And in their beta version at the moment, which you can apply for once you've registered, there is a new fluid model, which is allowing for the generation of more consistent, more film-like animations. So there's less of that typical AI flicker you see in quite a lot of work, which you can do using the normal version of Decoherence, which is actually still very good. And I'll explore some of that as well, because with some of the settings, you can get some really good output there as well. Right, subscribe, like, leave comments, visit AIanimation.com. Yeah, on with the video. So first of all, we're going to jump into Storyboard Hero, which is this new AI-powered storyboard generation, which produces really professional-looking storyboards to use in your productions. I've actually been chatting to some of the team behind Storyboard Hero over the past few months as they developed the platform, and it's been really cool as they're very engaged and keen to make the platform as good as possible so it can be used across different industries, so whether it's for film, animation, or any other industry that might benefit from some storyboards. So that's been really cool, and they've shared some things that are coming down the road over the coming months to improve the platform more and more. They've also given me access to an affiliate link, so yes, if you do sign up, I get a small kickback, which is great and allows me to put some more time into things like this, and you'll benefit from getting access to 5 premium credits for free as well. Okay, let's go ahead and press login. And we're presented with this smart interface, and I'm going to go ahead and press new storyboard. We'll give it a quick title, Robot Cowboy Moody Music Video, and press submit. And then you're presented with your project brief, where if you've been through some of the other menus, you can build up a team, add clients, change your company settings and set things like brand colors, logos, and stuff like that. So I'm going to ignore the client and tags field for now, and we're going to make a 45-second animation storyboard. The video type is going to be 2D animation, and video style for this one, we're just going to choose marketing. And then you can write out a brief, and the content you put here is going to help when it generates the concept using AI, as well as the eventual storyboard, scripts, actions, and things like that. So you can spend a bit of time on your brief, and it's got to fit within 500 characters. Okay, so I'm going to keep this nice and short. I've got dark and moody music video with a robot cowboy looking out across canyons, waiting for a giant evil robot to arrive to fight it out with guns. The robot cowboy shoots his gun and defeats the giant evil robot. He then stares across the landscape as dust blows and storm clouds roll in. Film noir style visuals with glowing blue highlights. And I've just put the little prompt of realism in the hope that that might get picked up by the image generator later on. And I'm going to leave the reference video blank. Press save, and then press submit to create concept. It then moves over to the concept tab, where the AI will get to work generating your storyboard script and actions. And it says it can take up to 1 minute, or potentially refresh the page if it doesn't appear after that time. So after a short wait, I actually got an email confirming the concept had been created, so I hopped back into Storyboard Hero, and I now have a 10-frame concept ready to check through, and it's added a title, description, action, and voiceover script for our storyboard concept. So you can see, for example, in frame 2, the description: the robot cowboy faces off against a giant robot adversary in the middle of the canyon. The action is the robot cowboy draws his gun and takes aim at the giant robot, which is flanked by other robotic minions. And then the voiceover script. No free rides here, it's time for a showdown. The robot cowboy enters the battlefield and shows no mercy to his sworn enemies. So you can go through and check your storyboard, make sure you're happy with the description, actions, and the voiceover script. You can press the edit frame button and change any of the text. You can press the sketch a reference button, which opens up this cool little area where you can sketch using your mouse or tablet, and you can remove frames as well or add your own. I'm going to assume this is all pretty good and hop straight into the next step, so I'm going to press approve and submit for sketching. And you're presented with two options, the first of which is generate sketches using AI, and I believe it's Stable Diffusion that's being used in the back end. Also, you have the option for premium sketches where an actual human artist, a professional sketch artist, will produce the different frames, as sometimes, as we all know, AI image generation can be a bit hit or miss, but the platform is improving rapidly, and I know there's more things coming down the pipeline which will allow for greater character consistency and things like that when using AI. I'm going to go ahead and choose the AI model and press next. You can choose if your images are going to be based on the description or the action. I'm going to go for action and choose your style. I'm going to go for photorealistic and press submit. And again, we're presented with this graphic as it generates those images in the background, and you can come back in a minute or refresh the page. And after a short wait and a couple of refreshes, the storyboard images have been created, and the output is really good quality. Some great fidelity and detail in all the images. So that photorealism filters worked really nicely there. The slight comedy result here, where I think the word minions was picked out of the action in frame 2. So we actually have some Despicable Me minions in the scene, which is a very fun visual, not necessarily what I was after, but I like the output. And I do know, as mentioned from chatting with the team at Storyboard Hero, they've got things coming down the pipeline to improve character consistency and give you more control throughout the sequence. But overall, really great visuals and a very nice platform that's easy to use, and I can see how it would be valuable both in animation and film production. Once you're happy, you can press export as PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and press export. And I very quickly received a link from Storyboard Hero to be able to download a PDF version of the storyboard. And this is how it appears when you first open it. You could go into your Storyboard Hero account, press company settings, and then here you could add information about your company, website address, choose your brand colors, upload a logo, things like that, so that that is reflected in the PDF export. Quickly spin through this. So each scene is given a page with the various bits of text describing the scene and adding the script. And it's a really nice professional layout, and I can see how this will be useful in productions for film and animation, and also at our own animation studio where we produce lots of client work. I also understand that they're working on an option for 16:9 image output rather than square images as well, so that will be hopefully rolling out soon. Quick look at the pricing. So for an individual account, it starts from $15 a month, and that can get you 100 AI images plus access to the platform with unlimited concepts and script generation. And then it moves up to $49 a month for 600 images. It's an advanced here with up to 10 seats, so 10 different users can be in your team, and you can generate 2,500 images a month. And of course, if you sign up via my affiliate link, you will get those extra 5 premium image generations as well. Here's another storyboard I generated before using the 3D option. And again, the images are really good quality, and I'm really impressed with the platform, and I'm excited to see where it goes, and I can already see us using it at our own studio. So please go and check it out. Now we're going to move on to some music generation using Suno, which is the AI-powered music generator. If you head over to Suno.ai, and you can press the button here to try out the beta version of Suno via Discord, and like many other AI tools, they're integrated into Discord, so you can chat with the bot there to generate your AI generations. Once set up in the Suno Discord, you can head over to any of these rooms to generate publicly. To chat directly with Suno, you can open your DMs, search for Suno Chirp Bot, and then input /chirp. So once in direct messages, we can click on Find and Start a Conversation and type in Suno Chirp Bot, and it will start a conversation. You can see I've had previous ones already. So down in the chat, we're going to press / type in chirp, press enter. You can then describe the style of music, and I'd like to generate some cowboy country rap, and I'm going to put in 80s video game style as well, just to see what it generates. And then you can type in your own lyrics here, or you can have ChatGPT generate the lyrics for you. So I'm just going to try that out. So let's describe what we're after. Moody cowboy robot battling a giant robot in a desert. I'm going to press submit. So that's written our lyrics. We've got a verse and a chorus written by ChatGPT, and it's already generating the output. And that's finished, and it's generated our 2 music tracks here using the lyrics created by ChatGPT. So I'm going to go ahead and press play.
In the wild, wild west where the coyotes roam, there's a moody robot cowboy. He's got a heart of chrome. He's alone.
Okay, and I'll stop that there. If you like the track you've generated, you can just press download here. If you want to extend it, you can press continue 1 or continue track 2. I did do one earlier, which is pretty cool, a country style where I tweaked the settings so it was an upbeat cowboy country 80s video game style.
In the wild, wild west, where the coyotes roam, there's a moody robot cowboy.
But it missed off the sort of the end of some of the lyrics, so I just pressed continue and didn't add any extra lyrics, and it finished the track off. So I can download that and the original track, and I can stitch those together in my preferred video editing software. Okay, I'm going to do a few more generations until I arrive at a track that I like, and then I'm going to move over to Decoherence, where we're going to bring it to life with some AI generated visuals using their cool UI video editor and the new fluid beta model. I actually used a mix of Decoherence for the visuals and Suno to create the music for a recent tutorial teaser where I had some animations placed on some old vintage SNES game cartridges as they slide in and the labels come to life.
Wasting my temper. For sword. Leave the boss guy. Dinosaur, dinosaur, yeah, yeah, save the princess, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dinosaur, dinosaur.
Anyway, and back to Decoherence. So I will include a link to the software in the video description below, which will be an affiliate link. So yes, I get a small kickback if you sign up, which helps me do projects like this. And if you use the promo code AI Animation 10, you can save 10% on your subscription, which is pretty cool. Once logged in, you'll be presented with your projects window where you can start your first project. You can see I've got various ones here where I've been trying out different things and doing some cool generations. I'm going to go ahead and press plus. You can then choose the aspect ratio for the video you're generating. I'm going to go for 16:9. There's a link here to a tutorial that does more of a deep dive into everything on the platform. So this is the main project window where you can build up your scene. Down the bottom you have a typical sort of video editor where you have your initial clip that you can scale if you're using the standard Flickr model. You can press add scene to add more clips to build up your edit. The second row allows you to add effects. So you can set sort of camera movement that you're going to see in the scene. You can bring in audio, which we'll do in a second, and you can set an overall global style from photorealism, psychedelic, horror, film noir. You can drop down the global scene modifiers tab, and you can type in things here, like you might want glowing blue highlights to be used throughout your scene. Anything you do here will be applied to all your clips rather than anything you put into individual clips. You can press the randomize button and it will create some presets which might be useful to help get you going. And you can also choose to have things removed from the scene. And again, you can press the randomize to get an idea of those. So removing low res, low quality, blurry pixelation, watermarks, deformed, ugly, gross, things like that. You can right click on any scenes or effects and press delete. So really nice, intuitive and responsive interface. So with our scene selected, I'm going to set up for our first clip. So this is using the standard Flickr model before we dive into the newer fluid model, which is available in beta. What do we want to see? Cowboy robot riding a horse in a desert with hills and canyons in the distance. And we've still got our settings set to film noir, and I'm going to change the global scene modifier. So it's minimalist color palette with highlights glowing in blue, comic book art, realism, 4K, so a mix of prompts there. I'm going to see what that generates, and this is in the global scene modifier, so this will be applied to every clip we generate in our scene. With our prompt written inside of Decoherence, we can then press generate images, and it will use what I think is Stable Diffusion to generate the images, or you can upload your own, but for the best output, they do recommend using their own generated images. So I'm going to go ahead and press generate. And then a few seconds later, it's produced 4 different previews which you can click and add them to your clip. They all look pretty cool. I'm going to go for this shot here. In the effect, it's currently set to very weak zoom out by default. You can increase the intensity of that. You can also drop down and choose from their different camera movement presets. And if we want the camera to rotate around our character as if it's almost 3D rotation, we could apply a move right, create another effect, choose effect, and we're going to do a pan. So we're going to pan left. So the camera will be shifting to the right whilst panning around to the left as it moves around our subject. You'll see there is an option here to sync to audio. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our audio track. So I click on the audio layer and then move up to select audio and then press plus and select my audio track for download. And you'll see it's brought in here and I can play that.
There's a wild, wild west where the coyotes roam. There's a moody robot cowboy.
And there we go, I've got a fun, upbeat country folk song about a robot cowboy. And you would have noticed whilst that was playing that it's generated these different players here where it's separated out the drums, the vocals, the bass and any other sounds. And these are really cool and you can just download them yourself and use them for something else. Or with our music track in place, we can click on the effects layer again, move up here and we can use the music and those beats to drive the motion. So if it was applied to one of the camera moves, the camera movement would take into account any beats or the change in vocals and that would affect the animation, so you can align the motion with the music, which can work well for abstract animations or music video. But for me, rather than apply it to the camera movement, I'm going to add another effect. Scroll down to video generation and there's one called Coherence. And this dictates how much shifting there is in the image. You can increase or decrease the coherence. So the stronger it is, the less flickering or the less changing there will be to the image. And the weaker it is, the quicker it's going to change and it's going to shift to different visuals much more quickly. I'm going to keep it at strong because I actually prefer it when there isn't too much change, but then we are going to sync it to the audio and I'm going to sync it to the vocals. So as the vocals kick in and ramp up and ramp down, it should impact how much coherence is affected and how much the image changes. Next step is, as I'm using the flicker model at the moment rather than the new beta version, the fluid model, which is limited to 4-second clips, which we'll show later on. But as it's the flicker model, we can actually change the length of these clips down to 1 second or as long as you need them to be. So I'm going to drop this down to 3 seconds and generate a few more clips. I might change out some of the effects and our video style, our global style will be used throughout until I have enough clips to fill up the whole audio track. So I'm going to press add scene, write out some prompts, generate some more images and fill out the edit. All right, back in a second. And after some time and a cup of coffee, I've completed the edit for the initial run through in Decoherence. This is using the flicker model. I've gone through and generated various images using different prompts, which you can see up here as I jump through these clips. And they're describing what's going to be happening in the scene. And then I've generated the images to guide the animation that occurs. Now, a couple of these, I haven't got an image prompt. So it's going from this shot here where we've got our cowboy robot galloping on a horse, and then on the next frame, rather than generate an image, I'm pressing the button here, so it will continue on from the last frame of the previous clip, and it would use the action described in the text prompt. So in the first shot, I'm hoping we'll have a character waving his hand, and then in this shot, the character will just be galloping on his horse. And I've done that a couple of times in the sequence. For example, here we have our robot, and then in the next shot, where we're continuing on with the frame from that sequence, I've prompted for the robot to explode, metal fall away, sparks and explosions. So we'll see how that turns out. And then for some of the effects, so for the very first one, I've got a moderate zoom out, moderate pan left. And then for coherence, I've actually aligned it to the drums and set the intensity to moderate. So there is some medium level of change to the image, so it's not too static. For the next one, I've done a moderate zoom in and a strong coherence to the drums, so it'll be quite a consistent image. So it should remain looking like this whilst it zooms in. And for this one, I'm using the same effect over both clips, and that's doing a moderate pan left and a very weak move right, so we should get a slight 3D rotation around the subject, and again, that's got strong coherence to the drums. And I've gone through listening to the lyrics of the song and positioning the shot changes in key points in the audio. And then for a final shot, I've got this sort of exploded robot spaceship scene and told the camera to tilt up. And it's quite an empty shot that we can potentially overlay some text graphics, some sort of title, if we want to in the future, using something like Adobe After Effects. Okay, and then once you're happy with the edit, you can do your initial video generation and then come back and revisit it and tweak and generate again. You can go ahead and press the Generate Video button. And to generate this 42-second clip, it's going to use 331 credits. Do I want to continue? Yes, I do. And I must say, I'm really impressed by the speed of the generations on Decoherence, because compared to other platforms such as Runway ML, Pika, the speed of output, especially for something as long as 42 seconds, is really very quick. And I'll expect this sequence to take between 2 to 5 minutes. Okay, and it's completed the generation using the Flickr model, so I can just click up here to preview it and then talk about the outputs, show you how you can download it, upscale it, and then I'm going to move on to using their new beta version, which is the Fluid model, which gives a different quality of output. Here we go.
In the wild, wild west, where the coyotes roam, there's a moody robot cowboy. He's got a heart of chrome. He's a lonesome wanderer, searching for his test, facing off against a giant robot in the desert's crest. Yee-haw, riding through the wasteland, guns ablaze, battle in the battle of giants, triumph never fails. Yee-haw, triumph never fails. Yee-haw, triumph never fails.
Okay, so there we go. It's looking pretty cool. I think it works well with the music, and I actually quite like that jitter movement it's got throughout the animation. But there's also, I think, a case for trying to create something which is more consistent and more fluid, which is why we're going to explore the new Fluid model in a second. But before we do that, from this window we can press Upscale, and it will go ahead and generate a higher resolution version of the animation, which we can then download. You can download this version if you need to. You can delete it. And you can also press Remix, which we'll do in a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and press Upscale. And this is going to use 126 credits. Press Continue. And we can close this window and see that it's upscaling here. Another very quick tip, which you may have seen from some of my other videos on the channel, is that we can upscale and improve the frame rate and the overall quality and reduce that flicker, that shudder in the image to a certain degree using the paid tool Topaz Video AI, which I will include a link to in the video description as well. So I've opened up the clip here in Topaz Video AI, and in the menu up here, I'm just going to go ahead, select 4K. So it's going to upscale the image to 4K. I'm going to increase the frame rate to 24. I'm going to enable stabilization and tick reduce jittery motions, and then scroll down to enhancement and just check what settings we've got here. It's currently on fine tune and enhance, and we could try out details and fidelity, but for this one I'm going to stick with fine tune and enhance and just press export. This is not a cheap tool and it runs directly on your computer, but once you've invested in the software you can use it again and again. So if you are generating lots of animated content and you can potentially use it in your work, it might be worth the investment. And that took about 20 minutes to finish upscaling and improving the frame rate and the overall clarity of the image, and it's done a really nice job. It was already a nice quality image, so it didn't have to struggle too much, but it has reduced some of that flicker, it's improved the frame rate, and yeah, the image is really crisp, so yeah, happy with that quality of output.
Battle in the battle, giant, triumph never fails.
Right, on with checking out the Fluid model in Decoherence. Okay, and now I've hopped back into Decoherence and we're going to go ahead and set up the new beta Fluid model. You can head over to their Discord. There's a link in the announcement section which you can click, and that will enter you into their beta, which they can then confirm if they accept you. And by following that link, it will reload the Decoherence website, but in the beta version. And we can click on our project to reopen it. And whilst we could edit it here, I want to keep a copy of this, so I'm going to click on our last output up here and press Remix, New Project, and that's going to generate a new version of our edit, and we can make changes here without losing the work we put into that Flickr version. You can then go through each clip, and then up in the top left, you can click on the Flickr image here and change that to the Fluid model, which is signaled as beta at the moment. Click on that, and you will notice it changes the length of the clip. So the Fluid model, all the output is currently generating 4-second clips, and you can't scale your clip either way. And it also ignores any direction given in the effects layer. So you have your image here, it uses the text prompt. Again, there's no image generation aspect here. You can't use a reference image, but it will take direction from your prompt here and from your global settings in your film style and your global scene modifiers. So I'm going to quickly go through, click on each of our clips, change those to the fluid model. And there we go. We now have all the clips at 4 seconds long, and it's going to use that global scene style and the text prompts we already had in place. And I'm going to go ahead and press generate. It's currently free in the beta program. So I'm going to press continue and leave it to generate. And as with other AI animation generation platforms, you will get different output each time you generate. So you might find that you want to generate again and again, or potentially set up a project with the same clip multiple times. So with a single generation, you get 2, 3, 4, however many passes you want of a single prompt, and then you can edit those together in your preferred video editing program like Adobe Premiere. Here we have the output from the fluid model generation, and you can see it's really, really nice, quite different to the Flickr visuals, nice consistency and unique images for each of our clips. I'm now going to take this and trim it up so it matches the edit we had originally in our Flickr edit, so we can time it to the music and things like that. And then I'm going to run it again with a few different global settings, try out different art styles and see how they turn out as well. Whilst I was actually going through and setting up different styles of output using the fluid model, Decoherence actually updated the available AI styles, adding photorealism to the fluid model, which was previously only available in the non-beta Flickr model. So I've done an output with that as well, and the results are really very cool, and it opens up a lot more cinematic and realistic options to rival the likes of Pika Labs and Runway ML. So I'm going to explore that a lot more as it's really very, very cool. Okay, and here we can see those different animation styles applied globally to our project in the fluid model, and I think the output's really cool and interesting, and there's so much scope for tweaking the settings, trying out different prompts and different global styles, so it's really cool. Here you can see the pricing for Decoherence, and do remember you can use the promo code AI Animation 10 to save that 10% on your subscription. So the basic tier for just $9 a month allows access to 4 unique AI styles. You can produce videos of 1 minute long, you can have 2 generations going at the same time and have 5 projects saved on your account and produce up to 10 minutes of video per month. Then moves up to $29 a month with access to all of those 8 unique AI styles. You can produce videos up to 5 minutes in length. You can have 3 generations going at the same time, have 20 projects, and produce up to 50 minutes of content per month. And lastly, the Director tier with 60,000 credits gives you an awful lot of freedom to try out the platform and keep regenerating, and you can produce videos up to 10 minutes long. You still have access to those 8 unique AI styles. You can have 5 generations going at the same time, so you can multitask and produce more and more work at the same time. You can have 50 projects and produce up to 200 minutes of content per month. And that brings me to the end of this video tutorial. Hopefully the ideas shared have been of interest, and it's introduced some new ideas and new bits of software that you can take on and use in your own animation productions. If you are an animator working with AI tools and potentially using more traditional digital animation techniques as well, please head over to aianimation.com where you can register as a creative for free, build a profile, upload work, collaborate, network, and potentially find some paid client work in the future as the platform develops. We've now passed, I think, over 900 creatives, so that's pretty exciting. And finally, yes, press subscribe if you haven't already. Press like, because I like it when people press like. Press the notification bell so you find out about future videos, and leave any comments, any thoughts on the different tools shared here, other things you've discovered, things you'd like to see, yada, 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 yada. All right, thanks very much. Have a nice day. Cheers.
In the wild, wild west, where the coyotes roam, there's a moody robot cowboy. He's got a heart of chrome. He's a lonesome wanderer, searching for his test, facing off against a giant robot